Well, I just came back from International Beer Festival, and turns out this particular festival ranks very high in the world. It's like, I think, one of 5 biggest beer festivals. So take a note. So it happened this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm gonna tell you all about it. So if you're not interested in beer or wine or festivals, just go boil an egg, okay? I'm just kidding. You don't have to boil an egg. You can probably saute it, grill it, or use a toaster oven. Those are good choices too. So anyway, I was talking about this in the last video, saying that how, you know, I was pleasantly surprised that the tickets for the beer festival were only 20 bucks, whereas before I went to the same complex, BMO Center, it's called Bank of Montreal Center. The wine festival, the tickets were $62 or 65 Canadian, right? And so I'm so happy that, hey, you know, beer is like a popular drink, right? It makes sense that it should be cheaper. And so I go online, I buy that ticket, and then, you know, have an iPhone so I can save that digital ticket in my wallet. And I decide to drive over there in my car. I was debating whether to take an Uber, but it's pretty far. You know, I'm in Northeast Calgary. I remember last time it was like 25 bucks one way, so it's like 50 bucks Canadian, you know. And I'm thinking, no. I'm thinking parking probably should be cheaper than 50 bucks, right, for a few hours. But something told me that I should not go all the way to the exhibition center, because I was not sure if they will have parking. I never been there in my car. And so, like, basically, literally 1 block away from the turn into the exhibition center, I started, you know, I saw parking, you know, a P, like a private parking. Okay, I turn in there and it says 8 bucks. Basically, park your car, go to the machine, get your ticket. And I get the ticket, and actually it says 5 bucks. I'm guessing it's cheaper on the weekends. Okay, so I put that, you know, slip on my dash, and just walk across the road pretty much, like, you know, maybe, I don't know, 200 meters, 600 feet to the exhibition center. And I'll see over there, it's total chaos. The parking is, they do have their own parking, but it's all full. It's like a bunch of guys with illuminated, you know, batons that direct traffic. And I see a booth and it says $15. And so I walk over to one of these, you know, dirigiori, traffic conductors, and I say, hey, I never been here with my car. I said, today I parked across the street, but it's just, I said, for the future, how does it work? How does parking here work? And the guy says, well, usually you go through that booth, you see where it says 15 bucks, and you park in these 2 lots to our right, but he says, now it's all full. So then we have an overflow lot on the left. And I'm like, okay, so still it was 15 bucks. Again, all currency, of course, is Canadian, because this is Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So I paid 5 bucks, and all I had, the difference was I had to walk, you know, 200 meters to the entrance. So saved money there. So I'm thinking I'm a pretty cool guy. I walk in the door and I say, okay, where's the beer fest? And there's, of course, security people over there. They say, yeah, go this way. So we lined up, and these guys, you know, you can buy a VIP ticket, and then they allow you to get in at 12 o'clock, like this particular, you know, Saturday, right? But if you are a Joe Blow, you know, a regular guy, and you didn't pay for a VIP ticket, the show starts at 12:30. And so we lined up, and there's like, I don't know, 1,000 people. I wanted to take a picture, but I didn't want people to, you know, look at me kind of funny, because I brought my big Z9 camera, but with a tiny 28mm lens, you know, and nobody looks at me, but I wanted to raise the camera and take a shot of the huge lineup. And so they made us go all the way to the right to the wall to make room on the left for VIP people. So, you know, it kind of make you feel funny, like, so, okay, so this is for poor people, this is for rich people, you know. And then also what was funny is that I never saw 7-year-old girls in makeup. Have you ever seen that? Like 10-year-old girls, 7-year-old girls, like what the heck is going on? And then I see there's a bunch of girls with parents walking by on the stairs there. And then I see a sign that says basically some kind of a competition, some kind of a dancing competition, but they have all these, you know, super young, basically, I don't know, babies, right? Like girls, and they're all wearing makeup. That was weird, you know. I wanted to take a picture just for the history, but then I knew that parents will call police right away, right? But it was interesting. 8-9-year-old kids wearing makeup. Like, why do you need that for a dancing competition? Like, what the heck is wrong with the world, you know? But anyway, eventually, so 12, and then they started ladies with scanners. I'm thinking they just had smartphones. They started walking down the line and scanning our tickets, you know, so our digital tickets ahead of time. So that was pretty, you know, well organized. And so as soon as it hit 12:30, we all were going in, and I asked the lady that scanned my ticket, I said, do I get like a wristband or how does it work? She says, oh, I'm not sure. I think they'll just give you a glass, okay, at the entrance. So you have to have your own little, you know, free glass. Like, and this time, last time at the wine festival, it was kind of like a little cup, but this time it was like a mini beer mug. You know, it pretty much looked like this, except it was straight and much smaller. You know, I'm thinking it was like 4 ounces, maybe 100 milliliters, you know. And so at the entrance, I still had my digital ticket open just in case, and you know, and they have all these guards, you know, security guards, and they're just handing out these glasses in a plastic wrap. So I took one. I go in, there's like million of people inside. There's I don't know, this is really a very big deal, you know, this festival, beer festival. And they don't only have beer, they had the rum, they had gin, you know, vodka, all kinds of stuff, but I would say 90% it was beer. And actually it was interesting to see local breweries, you know. I tried stuff from Calgary, Medicine Hat, then a couple of, but basically a lot of Alberta-based breweries. You know, it was nice. But the thing is, I go in, I turn on my camera, I check my settings, because of course the deal was, you know, I always try to practice in street photography, right? And this is like a beer festival with 5 million people crammed into one space. You know, how many people are going to pay attention to a guy with a camera? And so I had my big, huge Z9, but tiny baby lens, and I just put it on my head, over my head, you know. And I was walking around and taking pictures. So I go over to the first beer kiosk or stall, because I see a cute lady. I'm thinking I'm going to take her picture while she's pouring me the beer. And I say, okay, do you have anything like dark or IPA? Because those are my favorite types of beer. So specifically, in the last couple of years, I really fell in love with IPA beer. But of course, you got to be careful because it has lots of calories and usually has a high alcohol content. Which reminds me, that's why during the week I try to drink more of this stuff, 10 calories, 0.3% alcohol. What's the calorie? Oh wait, 10 calories, but yeah, what's the carbs? 2 grams. 2 grams of carbs. This is like the best non-alcoholic beer that you can get. Partake IPA. Tastes like regular beer. So I find the first kiosk, and I talked to the girl. I said, okay, do you have any dark or IPA? She says, well, we have both. What do you want? I said, well, I'll try some IPA. And she says, 2 tickets. And I'm like, excuse me? She says, well, we have some beers that are 3 tickets, some are 2 tickets. So we need 2 tickets. I said, what are you talking about? What tickets? And she says, you don't have tickets. I said, what? I said, I have a general ticket I paid $20 online for. And she says, no, you have to go back at the entrance. They're selling these coupons, right, or tickets. And basically, you go in and you have to have these tickets to taste. I said, wait, so what did I pay exactly $20 for? And she says, I'm not sure, but I know that you need to have tickets. Okay, so I go back to the entrance, but still, already inside the festival building. And I see one guy with a, security badge, and it says something like, what was it called? ABA, ABF, Alberta Beer Festival. And I said, excuse me, sir, I paid $20 online for a general ticket, and now I'm trying to, does that include any tasting? And he says, no. So basically, these guys are scammers, right? So when you, at the previous wine festival, it was $65, but that included all the tasting. You can taste, except of course they give you this much wine, but beer festival, for some reason, they don't even tell you on the website that when you pay $20, that's just to enter the festival. And I said, okay, hold on. So I paid $20. So for what? Just to walk around and look at people drinking beer? And the guy says, yeah, pretty much. You have to buy the coupons. I'm telling you. So if you ever go to Alberta Beer Festival, so bear this in mind. So this is like an insider tip number 1. No, insider tip number 1 was about parking. Even if you park your car 2 blocks away or 1 block away, you can save $10 at least, right? So I paid $5, whereas at the exhibition center was $15, and there was no parking available. People were like going in circles, hoping somebody would get drunk fast at the beer festival and leave, but they don't have enough space in there. So tip number 1, park your car away from the exhibition center. Like there's a bunch of parking available there because it's downtown. There's like parking lots every block, and then you just walk to the exhibition center. So tip number 2, actually when we were lined up, we were standing in line, there was a girl walking down the line and she had these coupons. And she says, you guys want to buy coupons? I'm like, why would I buy coupons? And she said, well, these can be used for food, for drinks. And I'm like, basically, go away. I already have the general ticket, right? So why do I need extra coupons? And so if you are lined up at that festival and you see this girl walking, buy those coupons, right? Because again, you cannot taste any beer or any liquor unless you have the coupons. And so after I talked to the security guy, I see the huge signs, says coupons. They have a bunch of desks in there, right, when you enter. And I walked over, and of course they have a debit machine. You can pay with a Visa, and I said, how does it work? And she says, yeah, when you pay it online, it's just for general entrance. You cannot taste any beer. Interesting. I said, okay, how much are these tickets? And she said, well, the coupons, each coupon is $1 each, of course, Canadian. And she says most kiosks or most vendors will ask for 2 or sometimes 3 tickets. So I said, okay, give me like maybe 5. And then I said, okay, no, hold on, give me 10. So I paid $10 for 10 tickets. And so that allowed me to taste, 3 or 4 types of beer. I think I tried gin. But basically, yeah, if you don't have these coupons, you cannot get access to the actual good stuff, okay? So that's another trick. And so yeah, this was a bit busier than the wine festival, maybe because it's the weather was warm, even though it started drizzling a little bit. But of course, I was there mostly to take photos, right? So I can practice in the art of street photography. And one thing I discovered, they say if you are shy and you want to do street photography, the best way to do it, to overcome your shyness, is to go where there's a lot of tourists. Everybody's taking pictures, like let's say you go to, I don't know, some big square in Rome, Italy, right, where there's like 2 million tourists and 200 local residents, and everybody's taking pictures. So nobody's going to pay attention to you, right? And so festivals are kind of like another venue where, there's a lot of people. But honestly, I didn't see any of these beer drinkers taking pictures. I did see a couple of professional people. Like there was one lady with a huge gimbal, and she had like a camera like this size. And I came over, I said, hey, that's a huge camera. And there was some other guy standing there, and he says, hey, your camera is not too small either. What is this? I said, well, it's Nikon Z9. I said, $7,000. Oh, cool. So, but people themselves, very few of them were taking pictures. I think maybe I saw a couple of them like taking selfies, But what I discovered is that doing street photography, so to speak, even though it's like festival photography, but you take pictures of strangers. But what I discovered is that doing street photography among people that are mildly intoxicated can be very, very, very rewarding, because nobody pays attention to you, And so I would have my camera. Let me show you. Let me show how it works. Usually, if I do, so this was my camera, right? So the camera is huge, but the lens is tiny, right? And so I had it on my neck like this, and I would walk around, and I had my index finger on the trigger, right? So when the camera on, and I would walk like this, and all I had to do, like this is a 28 millimeter lens. So it's pretty sharp, like all over the place, right? You don't have to be too precise in your focusing. And so I just walk around and just point the camera, like I look this way and I see like some cute lady over here. I look this way and I point the camera this way, and click, click, click. And nobody once asked me what I was doing, but it's cool. I just wanted to show the the atmosphere, the air of the festival. There were lots of women. Turns out lots of women like beer. Of course, there was lots of guys in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and there were some prizes. I see some Maserati, Maserati SUV. And it says, enter to win. And there's a girl there pouring drinks. And I said, how does this work? And she says, well, if you buy a drink from me, I'll enter you into this contest, and you can win this car. I said, cool. Yeah, I think she had some gin and tonic. And surprisingly, I think during this festival, that gin and tonic was the tastiest drink I had, like the old school gin and tonic with some ice, It was cool. It was cool. But I did try lots of beer. I had some dark beer, IPA beer. It was interesting. And then when I had this gin, they had a couple of standing only tables, like a tall little round tables, and I go over there because I still had some beer in my mini cup, and then this lady gave me the gin in a separate cup, and I just wanted to put it down so I can take a respite. And right away some two cute girls, I see they're rushing towards this table, and they're saying, can we share the table with you? And I said, sure, $5. And of course they started laughing, so I didn't get my $5. But then I see they're cute. I said, can I take a picture? And they say, sure. So I take the picture. I show them the picture on the back of the camera, and they're like, wow, that's pretty good. Can we do a selfie? And I do a selfie, and my mug is in there, like, and they were probably, I don't know, maybe 25 years old, and my mug is in this shot, and I take a shot, and then I show them the picture, and they say, would you mind deleting that? I guess they didn't want a selfie with a super old, like old guy, because it's a 28 millimeter, right? So it's supposed to allow you to do like a close-up, but I was doing like this, like, and still my face was pretty big in the picture, and then their faces were pretty big, so it didn't look very good. And so they said, would you mind deleting the image? And I did bring some of my fancy business cards, because I have one, like my freight business. I have freight business cards, and then I created these ones on what was it? I forgot the name, but this this website where you can create your own. So it just has my name, my email, my cell number, and my photo sites, and it says photographer and filmmaker. And so I give one of my cards to. I thought, if I take a picture of somebody and they say, what the heck are you doing? I thought I would just give them my business card. I said, okay, if you want this picture, just, text me where to send it, and I'll be happy to send it, And so I only gave my card once to these two girls, but it was funny how they looked at the picture and they said, oh, please delete it. Man. But anyway, so I only stayed there maybe an hour and a half, because then I ran out of my coupons, so I didn't want to get, tipsy, because I had to drive back. And so I probably had, I don't know, like just a couple of those small scoops of beer. So it's a good thing that they give you just very small containers, So it was cool, but there's so many people. It was actually a really, really, really fun. And again, nobody paid attention to me when I was snapping shots. And so I took a bunch of them in black and white, just kind of like experimenting with, with light. And then I took the other half probably in color. And so that was my experience. So it was worth $20 for sure, but I wish they would tell you on the website that the general ticket does not include tasting, which makes no sense whatsoever, right? So you're going to a tasting beer festival, and they say, yeah, $20. But you cannot taste any beer for $20. You have to pay extra. Kind of weird, So anyway, so I'm gonna attach all the pictures over here. Basically, whatever I have on my camera, no editing. This is straight JPEGs from the camera. And the camera I used was super expensive Nikon Z9, but the lens was a pretty cheap Z28mm f2.8. Enjoy. And please don't drink and drive.